Hi YouTube! Welcome back to my channel! Today I wanted to share 6 pieces from Make the Label. I have been shopping there since 2021 and I noticed there aren't a ton of recent reviews on them. So here I am. I have a ton of stuff from them, but I'm only going to show you 6 pieces today because these are the only ones out of everything that I've purchased that are still available for sale on their website. So let's start with background. Everything that I have for you today is cotton. That's the main reason I started shopping at Mate, is because I needed new sweats and I wanted them all to be cotton, no polyester. I also started shopping there because I wanted stuff that was a little bit thicker than what I already had, and this looked like it would fit the bill. The majority of the stuff that I have for you today is black, and that just happens to be because if you go on Mate's website, you'll notice that like a lot of things they sell, they offer in 3 main colors and then expanded colors. And the 3 main colors are heather gray, which I'm not really a gray person. I find it a little bit depressing, so I don't like to buy sweats in gray. The other color is bone, which is like an ivory or like a cream. The very first order that I ever did from them was the first and last time that I ordered something in bone, because when it came, I just really disliked it in person and I did not think it was flattering at all. So my default has just become black, and I think at this point I have enough black sweats. The first item is going to be the organic stretch biker short in jet black. They look like this. And I know a lot of people, I think recently, have started looking at Mate specifically for cotton workout clothes. I have to be honest with you, I've never worked out in these and I don't intend to ever work out in them. I bought them to wear with oversized tops while running errands, like Princess Diana style. So I can't speak to what they're like to work out in, but my assumption is that they would get really sweaty because they're cotton. They are 92% cotton and 8% spandex. I have them in a size medium. They've never pinched me, they've never rolled up on me, but again, I'm just walking around. I'm not doing any sort of lunging or squats or anything. I bought these in 2021 and they're still soft. They're still a true black. They've never faded. I do wash them in cold water and I only hang them to dry. I've never put them in the dryer. Like I said, I got these in a medium. That is my true size in these. And important to note, these are the original length. Mate now sells a version that has a much shorter inseam, but these ones are the classic normal length. Okay, this next item is the organic cotton long sleeve tee in heather oat. I low-key regret buying this shirt. I got it for layering purposes to wear around the house, but unfortunately it feels like it's made of tissue paper. It feels like they made it super thin on purpose and then just didn't tell anyone, because it's not the thickness that you would expect from a normal long sleeve t-shirt. If you run hot, then you'll probably love this, but like I said, I run cold, so this is basically a waste of my time. I did get it in a medium so that it'd be a little bit oversized, and like size-wise, it's great. I've had it since 2024, and originally I was hanging it to dry, but then I did stop caring and I started putting it in the dryer. So even though I've only had it since 2024, it has already started pilling. Like I said, I only wear it in the house under other things, so it doesn't really bother me. But if I were to try to wear this outside, that would be super annoying. Unfortunately, one of my least favorite purchases from this brand. Now we're getting into sweats. Let's start with the pants. I'm gonna show you the same pair of pants in 2 different sizes. These are both the Fleece Relaxed Pocket Sweatpant in jet black. I bought a size medium for lounging, a size small for wearing to the airport. The small is my correct size and the size that is more flattering for wearing in public. The medium is way more comfortable for hanging out at home. They both have pockets, which is great, and a drawstring waistband, so I can tighten the medium as needed because obviously the waist is bigger. They do also both have elastic leg cuffs on the bottom, I have to be honest, I do have a straight leg pair of sweatpants from Mate that I prefer over these, but these are still great in their own way. I've had both of these pants for the same exact amount of time. I ordered them in 2021. I'm not sure if the camera will be able to pick it up, but the medium is considerably more faded than the small, and that's because I pretty much always put the medium pair in the dryer, while the small is always hung up to dry. They've both faded since I got them though, because that's one thing about Mate's black pieces is that over time they will fade. It's mostly around the waistband and the hem that you'll notice it, but you will notice it. Ooh, also important to point out, the vast majority of stuff, at least that I've gotten from Mate, will say that it's fleece, and it is, but it's important to understand what kind of fleece that it is. The inside of like the sweatshirts that I have and the sweatpants that I have, this is not the fuzzy or the brushed fleece that you might be used to from the inside of other sweats. It's not like really cozy in the way that those are. To me, the texture feels closer to a French terry almost. It's not a French terry because Mate used to sell actual French terry pieces, and those are a lot thinner than these, but the texture, the surface texture is similar in my opinion. So it's not that it's not soft, it's just not as soft, and it's not fuzzy at all like other sweatshirts. Next, I have the Fleece half zip sweatshirt in jet black that I got in 2022. I believe that they re-released this recently as the organic fleece quarter zip sweatshirt. I'm pretty sure I got this like right when it came out because I was so excited because I was obsessed with half zips at the time. But unfortunately, I was really disappointed. I think I kept it because I needed it for a trip or something, but first of all, I got a small when I would have been better off with an extra small, and that just happens sometimes, so it is what it is. But as a result, it looks a little baggier on me than I prefer. I also just don't love how square it looks on. I used to hang it to dry, but now I usually throw it in the dryer because I was actively trying to shrink it so it would fit better. I think it worked a little, but drying, as with everything black from Mate, has caused the color to fade more quickly. This top has what I would call a loose hem. You can see it's like basically as wide as the rest of the garment. And typically in other quarter zips that I've had, the hem is smaller so that it fits tighter, and then the rest of the quarter zip sort of blouses over the top in a really flattering way. This is straight down, and so it's just not flattering to me. I know people try to tuck it in a little bit and zhuzh it, but I don't know about that. Also, the pockets are just really awkwardly placed in my opinion. I don't like how you can see the seam of the pocket. I think it's probably supposed to be an aesthetic detail, but on the website it like wasn't as noticeable, and then when it came in person I was like, oh. But more importantly, the seam for you to get your hands in the pockets is so far back that it's just like, why? Like I said, I got this in a small, and I did compare the measurements of my small half zip sweatshirt with the measurements of the small quarter zip that they currently sell, and the chest is the exact same measurement. For the length, I can't tell if Mate is measuring the center front or the center back, but my front length is 1 inch shorter than their small, and my back length is 1 inch longer than their small. So take that information as you will. I think that the discrepancy is probably from it going in the dryer, but who's to say? Not my favorite. I wasn't sure whether to include this last item or not because they've changed it recently, but I think it's a pretty popular item, so I will. This is the Fleece Oversized sweatshirt in jet black, but I believe that it's now known as the Organic Fleece Boyfriend sweatshirt. I got this in 2021. It's got a decent weight to it, but I wouldn't consider it heavy at all. It's definitely boxy. but I wanted it to be oversized, so that's to be expected, I think. I used to hang dry it exclusively, but now I pretty much always put it in the dryer because it's much softer that way. When I hang it to dry, it's like a little stiff, and I'm prioritizing the feel of it over the color because I only wear this inside my house, so I don't really care if it's faded. It is a comfy layer, but I pretty much always have something on underneath this. Similar to what I mentioned with the pants, the inside is soft, but it's not the coziest thing in the universe. Back when I bought this, it was only available in like mixed sizes. So my tag says extra small/small, but the version that's available now has straight sizing. So I did compare my measurements. My sweatshirt is a 50-inch chest, so 25 inches across the front, 25 inches across the back, and just over 27 inches down the center back. And we've probably lost some fibers over time due to tumble drying. So I'd say this probably falls somewhere between a current small and a current medium. But if you're gonna get this, I would say to definitely pay attention to the length measurements because the new ones are super long, in my opinion. So whatever bottoms you're trying to wear this with, like, think about how that might look. With this being one of the first pieces that I ever bought from Mate, it's kind of impressive that it's still one of my favorites. Beyond the fading, nothing else has happened to it. It stayed in essentially the same condition as when I got it. And when I'm paying that much for a sweatshirt, I kind of needed to do that. Well, that's all for today. If you have any questions about any of the 6 pieces that we looked at, let me know and I will try to help you. I know it's hard when a store is only online and it's like order, try on, return, repeat. It's like really annoying. So, as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of today and a wonderful tomorrow. Bye, YouTube.